But did it take two Aussies to pull off this kind of black comedy?
I know, isn't that odd that such an American story was told by two Australians?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Do you think the story would have worked as a straight drama, or was the comedic element so necessary?
I loved the unconventional structure of the script as soon as I read it. It's what made it exciting. I think people can tune out a little bit when it's a biopic that they already think I think in the case of Tonya's story, people already felt they know it. They felt they already knew what happened and they knew everything about her and they'd already passed judgment on her. So I think to have delivered it as a straight up conventional biopic, I don't think people would have been interested to see it. But this script and this film is structured in such a unique way, and it feels very original, and you're really getting everyone's point of view, and it's making a much larger statement. The film at the end of the day isn't about what happened around the incident. It really is about someone's life and the idea of truth, and the idea that people kind of tailor reality to come up with their own version of truth that helps them live with themselves.
Right. Yeah, the film, as you say, doesn't concentrate on the incident, but I remember it was such a shocking episode back then.
Yeah, I missed it completely. I was 4 years old at the time in Australia, and I know it reached Australia, but I guess I was too young at the time to take notice of it. So I missed it completely. When I read this script, I thought it was fiction. I thought it was completely made up, and I was shocked to find out that it was actually a true story.
Playing white trash redneck, that has to be so much fun.
It was great. What makes it great is that Tonya is a self-proclaimed redneck. She says that I'm a redneck, and she's, she never doesn't try to hide it. You see it in the film. She so clearly wasn't what the Skating Association wanted as an image of an American figure skater, but she refused to fit the mold of what they believed a woman should be in that sport. And I loved that about her. And she's still the same way. She'll still sit there and say, I'm a redneck, and what are you going to do about it? And that makes it really fun for me as an actor, because you're not approaching a character trying to apologize for anything. You're unapologetic, and you can be loud with your opinions, and that's fun.
It takes a bit of courage to do that.
Yeah.
I know that you were adamant that when you met with Tonya that she was aware she wasn't portraying her, but a character.
Mm-hmm.
Why was that important? And I think ultimately the film does create a bit of empathy for her and her upbringing.
Yeah, I needed to see her as a character and not... I didn't want my job to be replicating a real life person. I think if I'd set out to do that, I would have been too scared to make any bold choices. And she's a bold person. I mean, her choices in real life were always bold. When she said something, she says exactly what she's thinking, But if I was trying to tailor everything to show someone in a certain light because it's a real life person, and I think I just would have done nothing with the character. I would have sugarcoated everything and missed the spirit of Tonya completely. So to see her as a character meant that I could be bold and strong with my choices and not hold back in showing the good stuff and the bad stuff, because like life, people have good and bad in them. They have everything, the beauty of life, the tragedy, the hilarity, the absurdity, the seriousness, the rawness, the strength, the resilience, all those things that she has. You need to be able to see that, and I couldn't do that if I was trying to replicate her.
It really is the theatre of the absurd.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a train wreck, right?
Yeah, it's a wild story. It kind of grew out of it just escalated and snowballed into this global phenomenon that everyone was eating up at the time. And at a certain point in the film, we do make a statement on media and how we as the general public consume it. What they put out there, we eat it up. And I don't think any of us are really asking the hard questions. We're just looking for the easy answers, and we're passing judgment and moving on to the next thing without realizing that we're destroying people's lives or careers in the process. Kind of heavy at the end there.
Damaging.
No, but we're all guilty of it. I do it too without realizing. Thoughtlessly, I pass judgment.
This is your debut as a film producer. Why did this project seem to be the right launching pad for you for that part of your career?
We were looking at our company for female-driven content that could operate in the high-end indie space that also felt original, and this script ticked all those boxes. Complicated, intriguing female characters, not just one, but, you know, Allison's as well, at the center of it, in a very original feeling setting. Nothing about this script, often you try and find tonal comparisons when selling a film, you know, to make everyone feel at ease. Well, look, see, it's just like this film, which did well, so it's a safe bet. We couldn't compare this movie to anything. It was just unlike anything I'd ever read before, but that's the reason to make it. That gave us, you know, extra enthusiasm for it, really. So it really did tick all the boxes that we as a company were hoping to find in a script.
How tricky was the tone to achieve, do you think?
Very tricky. Yeah, very difficult. We started with a list of 150 directors, and eventually we found Craig. And if we hadn't found Craig, I don't think we would have made the movie, because until we found that person who could actually speak about the tone and their vision for the film and tell us ways in which they could execute it, we never would have wanted to tell this story, because the script wasn't up to interpretation. It was very clearly a specific thing, but it's a specific thing that was very challenging to pull off. Right. And Craig came in and just, I mean, his character work's exceptional. When you see something like Lars and the Real Girl, you can see how he approaches characters and can make you empathize with a character that you feel you have nothing in common with. But at the same time, he's worked in the commercial space, and he can work really, really fast, and he can, he's worked closely with visual effects houses and things like that, because there were those elements to this script as well. It's not like a small budget indie whereby it's all set in 3 rooms or something. You know, we've got Olympics, we've got crowds of thousands of people, we've got, you know, stunts that were going to require face replacement. I mean, there was a lot of challenging things, but Craig could do everything across the board.
Right. You know, heading into award season, there's been a bit of buzz. You runner-up at People's Choice in Toronto, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know.
How exciting is that aspect of the reception?
It's great just to know that people are seeing it and want to see it and then like it, and more than like it, understand it. I wouldn't mind if people saw it and didn't like it if they still understood it. But I just want people to understand what we set out to do, and whether they like it or not, that's totally up to them. Because it is a very subjective experience, this film. Craig made it intentionally so that the audience could really make up their mind about a situation. He doesn't lead you with music into thinking or feeling a certain thing at a certain time. He really does give you all the information and say, you decide. Do you think this is appropriate? Do you think it's funny? Or do you think it's sad? Yeah. That's up to you. And maybe that's a reflection on you as a person to how you react to that, which I think is really giving the audience, it's not assuming that people are numb when they're watching a film. It's letting them be engaged, and I love films like that.